Hi and welcome to Hygge and Homeschool. My name is Maya and I am the homeschool mom of a 9-year-old and a toddler, a 2-year-old. And today I'm going to talk about my reasons for homeschooling. I feel like it's a question we get asked a lot, and I feel like it can change a little bit over time. And I feel it's important that we keep reminding us why do we do this, and kind of what motivate us, what do we want to gain from the homeschool, and what do we want to avoid. So my number one is convenience and flexibility and lifestyle. My husband and me are both from Denmark, so our lifestyle is that we travel a lot, and I like to travel outside, the normal holiday season. It's a lot less expensive, there's a lot fewer people, at places we visit in Denmark. The grandparents have more time for us, they're not traveling themselves. So in that sense, I love to be able to travel outside the season. Convenience is also we don't have to get up at a certain time every day, get dressed, brush teeth, get out the door. We do get up, brush teeth, get dressed. We just do it in a slower pace. I love our slow mornings. The kids wake up by themselves at around 7:38, and then we have like a slow morning. We might do a little reading, a little playing, brush our teeth, get clothes on, and then have a big breakfast. And then we usually start school around 10ish. So I love that we can do it, slow and nice, and have this time together. We light a little candle and just enjoy. And usually we also call my mom, so we have a little few minutes chat with grandma every morning. And I just love that. And the whole flexibility also. If we're having like an off day, we can do, drawing, hygge, coziness, bake a cake, just relax a little, cut back on the schoolwork. If we're having super fun, we can get really into math or science or something, we can just continue throughout the day. Or if we've had, 5 days of rain in a row and suddenly the sun is out, we can just pack our bags and go to the beach. So I love that flexibility, and that we can just kind of follow our own bodies and rhythm. Like we usually have a pretty set rhythm, but I like that we can sometimes break away from it. And I feel like even though we have a rhythm, you can have, days where you do a lot and days where you do a little less. And also if the kids are kind of tired, they can sleep in, and I really enjoy that. I feel the best thing about homeschooling is long and slow mornings. That's like in everyday life, I feel that is so good, at least for our family. I mean, it's different from every family, but for us, that's something I really enjoy. So my second reason for homeschooling is to give my kids autonomy. I feel like especially my 9-year-olds, of course the toddlers, but my 9-year-old daughter needs to move a lot and jump around. She is also good at sitting down and doing schoolwork. She gets it done every day, but I feel like she asked me, I feel like I have, jiggles. Can I get up, jump on the couch, run around a little, and then get back to what we're doing? I love that I can give her that autonomy to feel her own body, feel when she can eat when she's hungry, she can, use the restroom if that's needed. And I really love that. I feel when I was in school, I remember at one point we had a teacher where we couldn't use the restroom. And that felt very, invasive, and it didn't feel good for my little body at that time. It's a growing body, you're learning to know your own body, and then you don't have that Autonomy. I will say that I won't, like, if you're in the middle of a science class or something and my daughter says, I'm hungry, we're not gonna bring out, peanut butter and jelly in the middle of that. So we're like, oh, you can wait a little. But I still feel like we don't eat on time every day. We kind of, again, we have a rhythm to the day. And so we go into lunch and we go into, afternoon snacks. But if she gets really hungry in between, and I know that she has had like a little, haven't eaten as much, a little breakfast, then I can be like, okay, we can grab an apple or, I don't know, a cookie or a snack or, something. And that autonomy of your own body growing up, I feel is very important. So yeah, that's my second reason. So my third reason is language and culture and history. As I have mentioned before, my family and I are from Denmark, and our kids are born here in America and are American. But I still feel like it's important that I have time to teach them the Danish language, teach them about Danish culture and Danish history. It's the Danes are very little people in Denmark. We're only 6 million speaking the language. So it's actually subsidized, the books in Denmark are very expensive, even though they're being subsidized, because there's so few who can buy them. It's a small and beautiful language, and I want them to know it. And my oldest has picked American, which I'm totally fine with, as her first language, and then Danish as her second language. So I feel it's important that I give her that. And also Denmark has such a rich and beautiful history and culture that I wanna give to her. And I feel like if she went to public school and was there the whole day, then I don't know if I wanted to, add history lessons and add the culture and language lessons. And then she wouldn't have Danish as a second language. She would have, I don't know, French or Spanish, which you will have as a third language here. But I feel like that really gives me time to kind of dive into it. And history, I kind of structure around Danish history. And then, of course, we're going to go heavy into American and California. We live in Californian history later. But Danish history is such a good base because it goes from the Stone Age and for today. And I know, of course, American history, like history everywhere does that. But for me, I know it, and I like it as like the spine of our history. And then we go out and see what happens at the same time, other places in the world. So the language and the culture and the history is also an important factor for homeschooling choice. Number 4 is individualized teaching and learning. I have actually, in this video is the first video where I don't say my daughter's a 3rd grader. I think technically she's an August kid, so she could be 4th or 3rd, and in California you fill out this piece of paper, and I was like, I don't know what I should put there. What if she has to go to public school? Stuff can happen, reasons, things can change. And so I just put her down as a 3rd grader, but I think technically she's a 4th grader. And our curriculums are, I feel, all over the place. We have some 6th grade science, we have some 5th grade math, we have 2nd grade language. So I think I'm gonna start referring to her by her age, because I don't really feel she fits into a grade. The reason I put her in 3rd was just and not in 4th, was she was right in between. And I feel like if she had to go to public school, I would rather that she was transferred up than down. So that's why I picked 3rd. But we use curriculums, for, all over. Like, it's very, individualized. It's very much for her and where she is. And I like that. I love when a subject kind of takes off and she, I don't, not levels out of it, but like we can just, you know, dive into it much deeper than you could have done, you know, in a public school. I have tremendous respect for teachers because they have like 20 or 30 students that they all have, you know, to accommodate. So if one student is super into some niche of a subject, you know, they can't just run along with that student and then the 20 other students follow after. But that's one of the huge benefits of homeschooling, that you can do that. So if my daughter wants to dive into something, we can really deep dive and have some fun discussions, and I learned so much. And that brings me to my fifth and final reason. And my fifth and final reason is I love to homeschool. I started out a little bit hesitant. I started out for flexibility and travel, and so we had that freedom. I was like, oh, I'm gonna do it, you know, in the younger years, and then we can travel to Denmark. And it was pre-COVID and everything, and I just began and I started looking at curriculums, reading up, you know, and educational theories, and I looked into Waldorf and Montessori, and I loved it. I was blown away, and I love the time that I get to spend with my daughter. And I would do it all over again. And I know that for some moms, some families, they don't, you know, love it. They don't feel called to it. They don't, you know, they really don't like to stay at home, and but for me, and I thought I was one of them. I thought, oh, I need to, you know, get out of the house, go to a job, see other adults. And I do miss that aspect. I mean, you see other homeschool moms, but it's very much, you know, you and your kids a lot of the time. And I love it. I really, really love spending time with them. I hadn't thought about that aspect. I think when we went into it, I was just like, oh, then we can travel. I can see, you know, my family in Denmark, and that would be awesome. And then when she's a little older, we can put her in school. But also, I love other aspects. I love finding the curriculums. I like reading the books. I like learning alongside my daughter. I love to see her grow and learn and grasp a concept. And I can't believe that if I had just, you know, sent her to school, I would have missed all that wonderful time together. So I will say that is my number one reason for homeschooling, that I love it. I love every aspect. And of course, it's not all rainbows and butterflies in our household. We have, you know, arguments, and sometimes she doesn't want to do school. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that. But for most part, it is wonderful. It's a wonderful experience, and we have so much fun. And I had never dived into like Waldorf or Montessori or Charlotte Mason had it not been for homeschool, and I had never, you know, learned those theories and looked into the different teaching styles. And I just thought it was wonderful, and I feel like it was a gift to homeschool. I feel very blessed to do it. So yeah, my number one reason, I would say the biggest of them all, is I love it. And have you told me that, I don't know, 10 years ago before I had kids, I don't think I would have believed you, but here we are. And we homeschool, and I hope you enjoy this video, and I would love to hear your reasons for homeschooling if you put it in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.